How to use the Word documents in Microsoft Word. Here we have the sample uh, resume created in Microsoft Word. But let's start with, maybe let's close this file and start the application. Starting from the beginning, you select the Word application, and this will be the display that will be provided to you once you started Word app. And here you can see there's a blank documents. Welcome to Word. It will show you just a quick tutorial for you how to use the Word document, single space blank and blueberry, other templates for the Word documents. Here in the new tab, you will also be given online templates, which has its own category for business cards, flyers, letters, educations, and resumes. So you can have a sample and you can select which one you want to use. But we'll skip this part and we'll concentrate on the blank documents so we can really start working from beginning. Here, this is the first blank documents that will be provided to you. The first thing you need to do is save the document and create the file. Here we can use the file, save, and position it to your folder, let's say desktop, and create a name for the document. Let's set it as sample Word. Click save. Now we have created or saved our first Word documents. Now the next thing you need to set up is the layout. If you're happy with the margins, you will continue starting working on the Word documents. Here I will show you the first thing we need to do is the layout. Here in the layout, we can set the margins, which is this is the left side and this is the right side. This is the one margins from the top, and we also have a margins from the bottom. Currently, you have a pre-standard selection. Once you go to margin and press this arrow, you will have a custom settings, normal, narrow, moderate, and wide. Let's say the wide, and let's set normal. You can see these are adjusting based on the margin settings. Mirrored, we have the mirrored margins, and we have the office default. Now you can also specify the margin settings if you cannot find it on the preloaded or customized settings. Let's set it. You can go to custom margin, and if this page setup will automatically open, you can adjust your top margins. Let's say we want it to 3 cm, and your left margin I want it to be smaller. Let's say 1.5 cm. This is in centimeters. Let's show your bottom I want only 1 centimeters, and the right I want to make it 4. So basically this is the settings for the margin. So let's click OK and see what will happen. So this is set smaller, this one bigger, and the bottom is small. So that is how to set your custom settings for the margins. Let's set it to the last custom setting for the normal. This is the one we have created now. This is automatically displayed. This is the custom settings that we have just created. Let's go back to normal, and let's use this as our settings for the margins. Now another important thing is the orientation of the page. Here the orientation, this is called portrait. The width is smaller than the length of the paper. So this is called portrait. Once you set it, you can set it to landscape. Now the width is wider than the length of the paper. So that is the two orientation. Either portrait, typically you will use the Word documents in a portrait orientation. You can also have the size. Here we have a letter size, which is typically used, and we have the A4 size. Let's use the letter size. That will split all these other uh, commands, but we will go to the indents and spacing. So typically the indent, as you can see, it will space the word away from the margin, but will normally be set at 0. The spacing before and after, it means the spacing between the paragraphs. So let's set it at 20. Let's key in some word. So we just need to open some Word documents and copy this word. Let's paste it as text. So now here is the first words that we have keyed in, and let's say we have the same words to type in just for this example, and we want this guy to be placed on the next spacing. Once you click enter, it will drop down to the next line, or the line with the space between these two paragraphs is the spacing. Before is the spacing above, typically it will be 0, and the after is the 20. I will show you. Let's say we set this to 40, what will happen? Click enter, and let's paste this back into our space before. Click enter. So we have it set it to 40. Enter, and let's paste it there. As you can see, it increases the space in between these two paragraphs. Let's set the spacing to, let's say, 100. Enter, it will drop down to 100. So let's typically space it as 10, which is quite normal, or 20, or so let's space it at 10. If you want to make it, if you're not happy with this, you can still space it into, let's say, 50. Now you have a nice spacing in between the paragraphs. Now in between these paragraphs is the spacing is called line spacing. It's not shown here, but once you select all this inside this paragraph, just right click and select paragraph, and here we can set the line spacing. Now it's set at multiple, so the spacing is much more bigger. So let's set it to, let's set it to 2. Let's make it bigger. As you can see, the spacing is adjusted. This is the preview. We can make it smaller, or we can make it bigger. Okay, once you're happy with your spacing, it will automatically space this selected paragraph into the spacing line. But if you only select this paragraph, it will only adjust the line spacing in this selected paragraph. The rest will still be maintained into that spacing. So one thing is you have to make sure you have, before you start working on it, you have properly set your line spacing, so you don't have to adjust it one by one or paragraph by paragraph. So let's set this guy, right click, paragraph. Now you won't see the spacing because we have different spacing in the two paragraphs. Let's set it to multiple, and that's it. Set it to 2. Click OK. The spacing is the same for both paragraphs. And once you go to the next paragraph, let's say we key in again. And let's just type any words. See, it will follow the same spacing. So now you have already created or set the spacing for the line spacing in between the sentences. So it will follow this line spacing settings continuously in all the words or sentences that you will key in this Word document. So that is how to start working with your Word documents, just by continuously placing and setting the line spacing and the spacing between the paragraphs, and you can key in or start working on your Word documents. Thank you.